So in today's session, this is what we're going to be covering. First, I'm going to just give you a bit of information about Royal Holloway. We're then going to look at the different options, for your post-18 pathway and what you could choose to do after you finish school or sixth form or college, of course. We're then going to look at some of the benefits of university and about getting work experience and then employment once you've finished your pathway as well. So let's give you some information about Royal Holloway, University of London. Now, contrary to our name, we're not actually in London. We are in Egham, which is in Surrey, which is just outside of London. And in fact, to get to the centre of the city, it's only about 40 minutes on the train. We are really near to places like Windsor, Englefield Green, Twickenham and Virginia Water though. So that's kind of the area that we're in. And you can see there on the map on the left-hand side, the real mix of buildings and nature on our campus university. So if you're not familiar with our campus uni, that's basically where all of the buildings related to Royal Holloway are all in one place, sort of like a mini little village or a town. So you can see there the blue buildings are academic buildings, which is where you would study and do lectures, seminars, labs, etc. The purple buildings are accommodation, which is where you would stay if you were a student at Royal Holloway. And the red buildings are our social areas like our cafe, restaurants, theatre, nightclub and sports areas where you can meet up with friends and do activities. Now, as you can see, we're surrounded by lots of beautiful green areas as well, and we are kind of in the countryside. So if you like nature, this one's for you. But we are also really, really fortunate to be so near to so many big towns and to London as well. Some kind of key facts about Royal Holloway. So we are the top 22nd university in the UK, and we've got just about 11,000 students at the moment. There are over 250 degree courses available at Royal Holloway, and there's over 110 different clubs and societies that range from music to sports to creative arts to really random stuff as well, like Harry Potter. So there's a bit of everything. As you might have seen, and you can see in the pictures on the left there, we've got a real mix of traditional and modern buildings on our campus, and we were awarded the most beautiful UK university fairly recently as well. So let's have a look at these post-18 options. First, I'm just going to show you something that we call the education ladder. So you can see here the different levels, and you don't have to know this off by heart, but it's just really helpful to, oh, that's frozen, there we go, to see the kind of different levels of education that there are and where you might want to go to. So this represents where your level of education currently places you and how you might progress onto the next stage. Just like a normal ladder though, you don't have to climb all the way to the top. It's designed for you to reach as high as you want to. And, for example, not everybody wants to get to level 8 and get a PhD, but if that's your aspiration, then fine, that's perfectly acceptable. But it's absolutely fine as well if you want to stop anywhere on that ladder. You don't have to go all the way to the top, as long as you feel that's the right level for you. So to give you an example, I'm kind of halfway between a level 6 and a level 7, and for me, that's a perfect place. But lots of other people have got incredible jobs with only the lower level qualifications that you can see in purple there. So there's really no limit, in this ladder as to what you can do and what you can achieve. Also, it's worth noting that this ladder isn't completely linear. You can come back to it at any stage of your life. So there's no age limit on going to university, for example, or doing a master's. But there might be examples where you might need a certain level of education for a job promotion. So you might go and do a course and get back on that ladder and come out of it again. So there's no kind of, you don't have to do this in a time period or anything like that. It's just so that you've got an understanding of how those levels of education can progress. And we're going to have a look at the kind of 3, 4, 5, 6 today. So what are the 9 pathways once you finish sixth form or college? So just before I show you them, actually, I'm just going to say I want you to keep an open mind today because all of these options have got pros and cons, and we're going to look at more detail in each of the 9, but do try and keep an open mind as much as possible. So you can kind of look at the as work, and you can split that into 3 sections. So getting a job, doing an internship, or starting your own business. You can combine working and learning, and that's traineeships, apprenticeships, and school leaver schemes. Or you can carry on to study, and that's normally university, higher technical skills courses, or retakes. And we're going to have a look at all of these 9 in much more detail. So let's have a look at work first, and let's look in particular at getting a job. So this is all about getting straight into the working world to start earning some money. For this, you'll need an up-to-date CV and a cover letter to apply to different jobs. And obviously the duration and the entry requirements depend on the different job and the different employer. Internships. What are they? You might have heard of them before. But an internship is a period of work experience where you can try out a job and get to know an industry. Again, the duration, the content, and the requirements all depend on the company. So you might get an internship with a big, well-known company like Santander, or it could be with a much smaller local company too. They usually go on for anywhere between 1 week, but it can be all the way up to 1 year as well. And think of it kind of like work experience that you might do at school, but normally a little bit longer than that. And internships tend to be unpaid, but they are good experience for then progressing on to work after that. The last one we're going to look at here is starting your own business. Now, becoming an entrepreneur can be really exciting, but think carefully, about the ideas that you might have if you want to start your own business, and you'll need a really solid business plan for this. Now, if you're like me and you're a massive fan of The Apprentice and Alan Sugar, you understand that it can be really tough to be an entrepreneur because you need to have something that's unique, like a unique selling point, and you've got to have maybe startup costs and really strong development plans. But there are massive advantages of starting your own business too. Now I'm going to show you this for each of the 9 options. You can see there in bold which of these websites, which of these options the websites in front of you relate to. So the first one is from the Prince's Trust, and that's all about self-employment, so starting your own business. There's Find a Job website there, and then the last one is about internships. And again, if you would like this PowerPoint at the end of the session, please let me know, and then obviously you can just copy and paste those links and have a look for yourself. So let's have a look now at combining working and learning. The first is a traineeship. A traineeship is a course that includes a work placement that gets you ready, normally for an apprenticeship or a job. So with a traineeship, you'll get some work experience and some help to apply for your next steps. And you can also improve your maths and your English skills with this too. Traineeships go on for a minimum of 70 hours in a work placement, with the rest of your time in a college or a training centre, building up on those other skills like English or maths. Now, traineeships are normally in a very broad sector, such as retail, administration, or hospitality, and they can go on for anywhere between 6 weeks to a year. Now, there are some really strict entry requirements with traineeships. For example, you have to be aged between 16 and 24, and you can't have anything higher than a level 3 qualification. School leaver schemes are a chance to learn and train with a large company whilst also earning a wage. Now, sectors like accountancy, engineering, finance, IT, law, leisure and retail offer school leaver schemes, but not every single company, so you'll have to do some more research. Now, what happens is you'll often rotate between different locations, but within the same company to get experience of how they function and what interests you. And it can include some distance learning or time in college and university as well. And they normally go on for anywhere between 3 to 7 years, so a lot longer. The entry requirements for a school leaver scheme are normally quite high A-levels, high grade A-levels or equivalent, and you must have a really keen interest to work in that sector. An apprenticeship is slightly different, so that's 80% of your time will be spent in the workplace, and you learn skills that are really, really relevant to that job. For example, something like a chef or a gardener, you would learn really, really, really specific skills to be able to have that job in the future. Now, with an apprenticeship, you are paid a salary, which is at least minimum wage, which is £4.15 an hour. However, you do have to apply to it like a job, so you have to find it online, fill out an application form and go through with it like that. Apprenticeships normally go on for at least a year, and they can lead to higher level apprenticeships if you want to improve your skills, maybe work or university or college. And once you've kind of decided on the area that you're interested in for an apprenticeship, that's pretty much what you are confined to, so they're a little bit more restricted. Again, some key websites here for apprenticeships, school leaver schemes and traineeships if you are interested, which I can always send to you. The last kind of 3 that we're going to look at is about studying, and the first one is university. So university, you will study for a degree or an academic course that's normally at a higher education institution like Royal Holloway. You'll learn through lectures, seminars, group projects and independent time, or labs if it's more of a kind of science subject. Now, obviously, you have to pay tuition fees, but there is funding available to support you, and you can study full or part-time too. Most of these courses would be at a university or maybe a college, or it can be online as well. And obviously, you can go abroad and go away to study if you'd like to as well. And most degree courses are between 3 to 4 years. And as I'm sure you know, different universities will have different requirements, so do make sure that you check that out. Higher technical skill courses are where you learn the higher level skills that employers want in particular sectors like finance, engineering, management, and scientific jobs, but on a much more kind of classroom taught course. Normally they're at college or university, and it goes on for 1 to 2 years. And to find out some more information about this, you're going to want to speak to your local college or local provider for a bit more information. The last kind of option is if you didn't get the results that you wanted on A-level results day, and you can resit some of your courses or sign up for new qualifications. And that's normally just for 1 year in your school, sixth form or college, and you'd have to speak to your careers advisor for more information about that. And there's also the possibility of doing a gap year or deferring if you wanted a bit of time out to decide what's best for you. Again, ucas.com and Royal Holloway, or if you want to have a look at some university ideas, and you've got the student room, which is great for some kind of overall advice as well. Just before we move on, I wanted to let you know as well that there always will be a backup. So the government have put out a 1-year funded course for 18 to 19-year-olds, and that's if you can't access any work or work-based training in September, you can take a free course to gain some kind of work or technical skills needed by employers, and that's in subjects like engineering, construction, health and social care, and ICT as well. So there will always be a backup option for you if you don't get, the option that you want, and they're normally at college, those things as well. Okay, so let's do a little activity now to see if you've been paying attention. So what you're going to see in front of you is, hopefully, the 9 different options that we've looked into. And that's 1 to 9 are kind of across the top in the dark purple. I've just pointed at my screen, but you obviously can't see. And then on the lower half, you've got A to I, and they are all of the definitions of those type of options, okay, but they're all in a jumbled up order, so 1 does not match up with A, it's completely random. So what I'd like you to do, please, is on a piece of paper or on your phone or whatever you've got around you, I would like you to very, very quickly jot down 1 to 9 as a list, and then I'm going to give you 2 minutes to try and write down as many as you can to try and match up the term of the post-18 pathway with the correct definition, okay? If you've got any questions, please do pop them in the chat. And I'm going to put 2 minutes on my timer. Okay, don't worry, by the way, I'm not going to make you share your answers or anything like that. It's just for you to kind of have a bit of an understanding really about what we've just been through and check that you are on the same page as me. And if you've got any questions, it might kind of jog your memory as well. So 1 to 9, matching up with A to I, 2 minutes, off you go. You're halfway through, 1 more minute, try and get all 9 if you can. If you've got any questions, please do ask away. You've got just less than 1 minute. Okay, 3, 2, and 1. That is your 2-minute timer finished. Okay, hopefully you got all of those 9, or hopefully a good proportion of them. I know this is quite tricky, especially when they're underneath each other, but fingers crossed you got some of them correct. So let's have a look. So your answers are: 1 is D, so that's getting a job with getting into the world and starting earning. 2, start your own business, is F, so be your own boss. 3, internship, is B, so a period of work experience to see if you like a company in the industry. 4, which is traineeship, is G, so that's all about a course that prepares you for an apprenticeship. 5, apprenticeship, is C, so that's 80% of your time learning skills for the job and 20% of the time learning. 6 is A, so school leaver scheme, and it's a chance to learn and train with a large company whilst also earning a wage, not learning a wage. 7 is I, so that's about learning a subject that you're passionate about through lectures, seminars, or labs, which is obviously university. 8 is E, so that's learning the more advanced skills that employers want for certain sectors. And number 9, your retakes, is H, which is a chance to try again if you didn't get what you need. Well done if you got 9 out of 9. Hopefully you got a good result for yourself. And obviously I'm not going to make you type in your answers or anything like that. It's just a chance for you to see how much you really do understand about the different pathways that are available to you. Okay, so with these 9 different pathways, how do you go about choosing what's the best option for you? What do you need to consider? Well, I want you to have a think about the following aspects. The first is your future job or career. So what do you want to do when you're older? And it's okay if you don't know now, but have you thought about anything that might interest you? And if possible, when things go back to quote unquote normal, try and get some work experience if you can to see what interests you, maybe what's right and what's not right for you. Oh, sorry, my computer keeps pressing random buttons. There we go. Learning style. So how do you like to learn? Do you like learning in a classroom, or are you someone who's a bit more hands-on? Assessment. So do you mind exams, or is coursework more your thing? I don't think anyone necessarily loves doing exams, but are you okay with them, or do you prefer much more hands-on vocational types of assessment? What kind of person are you? Would you suit this type of environment? Do you like, if you were going to do an apprenticeship in gardening, do you like being outdoors? For me, it just would not be right. So have a think about the kind of person that you are. Requirements are all about what you need to get in. Is it the appropriate level for you? So think about that education ladder that we saw at the beginning. Is it appropriate, or are you maybe pitching it a bit too high? Are you going too low? You need to push yourself more. Have a look at those requirements. Aspirations. So what do you want from your life? What is important to you, basically? Do you want to live in a city or travel the world? Is earning a lot of money important to you, or helping people? What do you want to get out of your life? That's what you need to think about. And most importantly, what do you enjoy? There is no point choosing something that you don't feel passionate about or that you don't care about, because you have to drag yourself out of bed every day to do it. Okay, so you have to enjoy the thing that you choose, or the pathway that you go for. So out of these 9 options, lots of them can lead to university. So a lot of people think that it's just A-levels that take you onto university, but actually an apprenticeship and a traineeship, a degree apprenticeship, retakes, they can all lead to university. So let's have a look at university now and what it can offer you, regardless of the route that you take. So an average degree course is 3 years, but as I said, that can be longer for certain degrees, or courses with a sandwich year. You'll understand a subject much, much deeper and broaden your knowledge and kind of become an expert in that field. You'll get a degree that's awarded, and that would be a Bachelor's of Science, which is BSc, or a Bachelor of Arts, which is BA. As I mentioned earlier, you pay your tuition fees normally by taking out a loan, so that's your student finance loan, and that covers your tuition fees, and you can also get a maintenance loan, which covers your day-to-day living as well, so there's lots of help there. And you can also apply for scholarships, bursaries, and work part-time if you would like some extra money to support you as well. What could you study? So what are your choices? Well, think about the subjects that you study at school right now. You could take an aspect of your favourite school subject and do that in lots and lots of detail for 3 years. And you might notice some of these are what you maybe study for GCSE or what you're doing for A-levels. Or you could do something that's a little bit less familiar. So you could study something completely new that you've never had the chance to study before, such as criminology or architecture, game design, physiotherapy, primary education. You know, the list is completely endless. So have a look now at the kind of less familiar courses on your screen that are available at different universities. Unfortunately, not all of them are available at Royal Holloway. Some of them are though, but they actually all do exist, as do some kind of wackier courses as well, like circus studies, esports, winemaking, Viking studies. They all exist. You just need to find them if that's something that you're really passionate about. What about joint honours? You might have heard that term before, or even major minor. So joint honours is also a popular choice for many undergraduates who are choosing their degree, and that's when you do a 50-50 split between two different subjects. And anyone who's got a good memory will remember that this is what I studied for my undergraduate degree. So I did English and Spanish because I just couldn't choose between the two of them, and they complemented each other really well. You would normally choose two subjects that do kind of work in accordance with each other, but there are some more diverse combinations out there as well if it's something that you're interested in, so do have a look. And with some universities, you can do a major minor combination, which is 75-25 instead of 50-50. So at Royal Holloway, there are more than 250 courses that you can study for your degree. And you can see on the left there the 20 departments that we have at Royal Holloway. And obviously within those 20, you've got to divide that into 250. So there's so many different ways that you can tailor your degree to you. So you can do a subject like geography just by itself. Or you can specialise within geography, for example, doing human geography, physical geography, or the same with history. You can do medieval history, ancient history, or just history by itself, and then choose modules as you go along. Finding a degree is a bit different, to school and sixth form and college, because it's finding what is really important to you, and the modules that you'll study in your degree course will really, really highlight to you what is important and what you want to specialise in. Now, I might be wrong in saying this, but I think there's sometimes a bit of a stereotype with university that it's just really expensive and only clever people can do it, and they go and just sit in a big lecture hall for 3 years of their life. Okay, some of you have potentially even heard that some of those stereotypes going around. Well, this is wrong on so many levels. Let me tell you why. Well, the first is the financial support that's available so that every single person has the chance to go to university. As I mentioned, you do have to pay to go and study for a degree, but there are loans for your tuition fee to cover that, and there's the maintenance loan, which covers your day-to-day living, as well as those bursaries and scholarships and grants, as I mentioned earlier as well. The second is that there's a whole range of options. So every university has their own entry requirements, so it's not just for clever people. That's a really old-fashioned stereotype. You can find a level or a university that suits you, and some universities require specific A-level grades and will ask you for a certain number or a certain subject, whereas some universities will ask you for a certain number of UCAS points that you can make up in several ways. So there's lots and lots of different routes into university, as I mentioned earlier as well. And lastly, university isn't just sitting on a lecture hall. It's about being inspired and doing something with the knowledge that you gain. And this could be from an engaging lecture or an important topic in your subject, or it could be maybe a heated debate in a seminar. Or, as you can see from the pictures on your screen, it could be something that's much more hands-on or in labs, like subjects like nursing or veterinary, dentistry, maybe engineering, physio, medicine, teaching. They're just a few examples of some of the vocational things that you could study at university, and it's not just sitting in a hall. I think another really important benefit about university is the flexibility. Compared to some of the routes like I talked about, like apprenticeships, where you just choose one route and you stick to it, university is much more flexible. So the first thing is about deferring, and that's when you get a confirmed place at a university, but you want to push it back by a year. It's worth noting that not every course at every uni offers this, especially if it's very competitive or if they're changing the course. Contextual offer is something that we can give to Royal Holloway prospective students, and that's for students who meet certain eligibility criteria, and that means that they can get an offer to study with us up to 2 grades lower than advertised online. So if it's advertised online as ABB, that student might get an offer of ACC, which will help them to kind of realise their dreams and achieve their potential. If you want some more information about that, the website is just there for you. Foundation years are courses that are absolutely ideal if you want to study for one of our kind of sought after degrees, but you haven't quite got the right grades that you need or the kind of combination of subjects, or if you're coming back to education after a bit of a break. They're also quite broad and they're a really good way of trying out a subject before you fully commit to it. And you can see on the right there the different range of foundation years that we offer at Royal Holloway. University can be offered part-time if you want to, and also online if you've got other commitments, which is obviously fantastic. And there are accelerated courses at some unis, which is if you wanted to get a degree in a much quicker way, and they offer it, they kind of squeeze it into 2 years, which means that you can get in and out a lot quicker, but only certain universities do offer this. And there is obviously a massive range and scope of choices with university degrees. You don't just pick one route, you pick something that actually opens so many doors to you for the rest of your life. It's not just one option, you know, it's kind of facilitating and enabling you to open all of those doors in your future. Okay, so we're going to do another little mini activity now. What I have got for you on the screen are different benefits of going to university, and they are obviously represented through different pictures. So I want you to try and work out what the different pictures represent. And as I say, they are all benefits and really good things about going to university. So again, I'm going to put 2 minutes on the timer. And if you think you work out any of them, put them in the chat. You can either send it to everyone or you can just send it to me and I'll read out some of the answers if we get them right. So have a look at that first one, see if you can work it out and work your way through if you can. I think it does get harder as you go from left to right as well, so good luck. So 2 minutes is on the clock. Good luck. Type in the chat as soon as you get one. Good, someone's got the first one correct, which is brilliant. So that's new friendships. New friendships. There you go. So yeah, about making new friends. So now you know how it works. Have a look at the other 4. Okay, good luck. You've got just under a minute left. Someone has got the second one and the third one now. Good. I won't give you the answers just for a second in case you're still working them out. You've got 30 more seconds. Okay, that is your time up. That's your 2 minutes. That was absolutely rapid. So well done to everyone who's been furiously typing away their answers in the chat. That's really, really good. You got a lot more than I thought you would, so well done. So the first one, as we've said, is new friendships. So that is, you know, meeting people from all over the country, from different places in the world. You're going to have the chance to meet people that you never normally would and maybe make long-lasting friendships with them. Number 2, as lots of people correctly guessed, is accommodation. Well done if you got that. So it's, you know, accommodation is all about whatever is best for you. You could choose to live at a university that's really, really far away if you want to just start fresh, or you could do, you know, a university where there's accommodation where you can pop home at the weekends and you're just far away enough, or you could decide to stay at home and commute to save some money. It's completely up to you. The third one in the blue is career prospects. Yep, just let that one sink in. Lots of people got that, so well done. Career prospects. So we're going to talk more about career prospects in just a minute, so I'm going to leave that one for now. Number 4 in the green is placement year. Yeah, I know it's a bit rubbish, but we tried. Placement year. So again, I'm going to refer back to this in just a moment. And the last one is student finance. Now, interestingly, no one got that one. So I think maybe you were putting too much of your time and effort into the earlier ones, and it's a bit vague as well. Yeah, student finance. And that's obviously, as I mentioned earlier, a way that makes sure that everyone can access higher education and university. You don't have to be a millionaire to go to university. That's what student finance is there for. Also, these ones were too tricky to find pictures for. Some of the other benefits of going to uni is obviously, as we've mentioned, becoming a real expert in your area and having that really deep understanding of your subject, joining the clubs and societies and learning new skills. What about employment? This is kind of the last area that we want to look at today when you're thinking about your post-18 pathways. So when I went on my year abroad, someone said to me, say yes to every opportunity that was presented. So I lived in a rural area of Spain. I didn't know anyone. My Spanish was okay. And someone just said, throw yourself into it, and get as many experiences as you can. And in terms of your journey, whether that's university after your kind of your A levels or whatever route you want to go down, I would offer the same advice. Just try and throw yourself into every experience because it's going to be valuable and you're going to learn something about yourself and learn new skills. So what I want you to have a think about is getting involved with as many of these things as possible, and university offers so many chances to do that. The first is volunteering. So there's lots of chances with Royal Holloway, for example, to volunteer for your local community, global projects, and even going on trips to go and volunteer in other countries as well, and peer mentoring. Lots and lots of opportunities for you, which looks amazing on your CV. With subjects and societies, again, joining them, you're going to make new friends, you're going to have a really good time and learn new skills, but it's also about showing that you've maybe taken on a leadership role if you really want to, lead a different society or start your own, or even just getting involved just shows that you've got another side of your personality and you feel passionate about something else. A year in industry is invaluable experience, improving your skills and working for a company. It's really helpful to get a job to say, yeah, I can do this. I've done this before. I've got that experience. Year abroad is obviously is what I was mentioning earlier. I think it's an amazing way to travel the world and learn at another university or to work and to improve your language skills, whatever you want to do. And it's all about experience. And part-time jobs not only help you to pay for more things on a day-to-day kind of living, in that kind of sense, but it's also an amazing experience for your CV and to learn new skills. And when you're at university, you can obviously get a job in a shop or a restaurant if you wanted to, but you can also work for your university. So Royal Holloway, for example, run a student ambassador scheme where we employ our current undergraduates and they work for us when they want to. So we're really flexible with the hours, it fits around your studies, but it's really great pay. And again, you can get involved with loads of different projects helping us, doing the webinars and things like this as well. So there's loads of opportunities to gain lots and lots of experience. Kind of my last slide here really is all about employment and carrying on from that and the kind of career service. So if you go to university, it's really important to make the most out of your whole experience to help you get the best possible job or career when you graduate. Networking is a vital benefit of university where you can meet other kind of like-minded people or companies at careers fairs. Equally, you can network with university alumni, and if you're not sure what that is, that's basically people who went to the same university who might be able to offer advice to you, contacts in an industry, and it's just a really, really amazing opportunity for you to be able to do that with people who know the same university as the one you've chosen. Likewise, every university will have a careers service, and you can see a picture here of one of our careers advisors at Royal Holloway. And you can use the career service throughout your degree. There's normally a hub or a building with a dedicated careers advisor who can give you advice, tips, guidance and routes, so you never feel like you're in the dark with your degree and you think, oh my goodness, I don't know where I'm going. There's always going to be someone there who can help you. And I think it's very significant to note that having a degree will improve your chances of gaining employment for most jobs. Of course, there are some jobs that we've discussed through other routes, like in technical courses or apprenticeships, that don't need a degree, and that's absolutely fine. But lots of jobs do require a degree, so it depends what you want to get from your life and what kind of job you want. Lots of jobs don't specify which degree they need, but they just ask for a degree because it shows that you've got the transferable skills that they're looking for from a graduate. For example, better communication, time management, ability to analyse, things like that. And of course, it is worth noting that some jobs that we've discussed where it's necessary to have a degree, you will have to go to uni and get that degree, for example, to be a lawyer or a doctor or something like that. So I hope that you've gained a really valuable and useful insight this evening from myself into the different 9 routes for your post-18 pathways. And I really hope, as I mentioned at the beginning, that you've kept an open mind and considered the pros and the cons of each of those routes. Please do research specific courses, whether that's a university degree, an apprenticeship, or whatever. You have to do your research. Don't go into these things blindly or just because your friends are doing it. You have to do the research and do what's best for you, because each course will have their own requirements, availability, etc. So make sure you do some research online, speak to people, speak to your teachers or your careers advisors, anyone. Just get those ideas flowing.